Resources Board, and specifically Gene Wiley, who conducted 5 listening sessions for the public to comment on the department's proposal to carry out the law. And the State Parks Program accepted written and email comments on the proposal as well.
I am Jeff Mursau, representative for the 36th Assembly District, which covers a good portion of northeastern Wisconsin. I'm currently chair of 3 assembly committees, our Committee on Natural Resources, Committee on Forestry, and the Joint Legislative Committee on Tribal Relations. Since its early days, the Conservation Commission, the Natural Resource Board, and the Department of Natural Resources have been able to automatically close lands to public hunting access just by acquiring them and designating them as state parks. No board or official was responsible for hunting closures. My amendment to Act 168 changed that. Under Act 168 and the proposed rules before you today, the legislature and I have reversed the presumption that all state parks are automatically closed to public hunting and trapping recreation, and created accountability to the public in a formal vote to close publicly owned land from public hunting and trapping. Hunting, fishing, and trapping are constitutional rights for the people of Wisconsin. If the rights are going to be restrained by government, even when it is reasonable, the public should be able to identify official decision makers closing of hunting access. Regardless of what you hear today, peace and quiet are not constitutional rights. I challenge anyone to find that either in the state or U.S. Constitution. The Conservation Congress overwhelmingly voted to support this proposal. The proposals passed in 71 of 72 counties in the 2011 spring hearings. While some individual board members may not want it, the public deserves, and the legislature has delivered, a law placing both accountability and discretion with the Natural Resource Board. You have all the necessary power to protect park visitors, protect natural resources, and make a real effort to analyze every state park individually on its own merits. The Natural Resource Board can close a park, in whole or in part, to hunting and or trapping all or any species, either now or in the future, based on the safety risks to state park visitors, area residents, and certain species and plants. Since people around Wisconsin pay for acquisition and maintenance of the state parks, the state should try to make hunting inside state parks for people in every geographical corner of the state whenever it is reasonable and safe. Act 168 automatically prohibits hunting and trapping within 100 yards of designated use areas in state parks, such as camping areas. This is 2 football fields width on both sides of the trail by Act 168 statute. Add in other statutes regarding gun-free school zones and hunting near roads and structures. Add in master plan regulations. Add in the experience of the DNR and the Natural Resource Board. I have the confidence in the Natural Resource Board to ensure hunting in state parks will be done safely. Wisconsin DNR is experienced at managing multiple types of users, including hunters and trappers in state forests and state parks. Doing so in more state parks is not a new skill set for decision makers, the Natural Resource Board, and land managers, the DNR. Whether it is responsible of both DNR and the people of Wisconsin to manage our wildlife and their impact on the state parks, whether it is more active management of the timber or deer or the turkeys or the garlic mustard, Wisconsin needs its citizens to help us maintain our natural resources. If we don't, we start to lose public support for necessary future acquisitions. In the fiscal environment where stewardship has been scaled back, demand is increasing for more public places to hunt and trap. It is wise to regularly re-examine our current assets to find new hunting and trapping opportunities in more of our existing state parks, helping ensure continued support for stewardship from the entire public, including hunters. Finally, your authority to close down parks to hunting, fishing, and trapping does not go away after today. This board will retain its authority and responsibility to regularly look at park visitor experiences to fine-tune recreation plans. These parks have been paid for by the people of Wisconsin. Let's try as hard as possible to make them available to all the people in Wisconsin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Madam Secretary, and members of the Natural Resources Board. I appreciate the good work and hard work you do to protect the natural resources of our great state, and it's one of the things that makes Wisconsin a wonderful place to live. I too am a member of the Natural Resources Board, lifelong hunter and fisherman, dog owner, cross-country skier, and that's why I sent you a letter with Representative Fred Clark on Friday commenting upon this proposal. Both Representative Clark and I supported the MRSA, what was originally a compromise, and I appreciate the chairman doing that in committee, and then voted for the bill on the floor. But we are concerned, and obviously the concern we've seen from the public, the many calls that we've received all across the state in Democrat and Republican members, that this proposal may go too far. And I'm here to sort of say, which legislators rarely do, you can mark my words, we may have made a mistake and we may need to fix it. So. Yeah. I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. I thought that might get but let me give you a concrete example of where I will be skiing, hopefully this weekend, from Blue Mountains to Mountain. The area was pointed out by the Parks Director, appreciate you pointing out. This area, lower area down here, is open for hunting. And again, as a lifeline, I hunt in the CWD zone. I do my part to try to control the deer population out there, because if hunters don't get the deer, you know the drivers will. But this area is too small to effectively hunt it. It's probably 100 or 200 yards across. And it really should not be open to hunt. It's right next to the ski trail. What happens is usually I come bombing down here trying to avoid the trees, and the last thing you want to do is be dodging trees and bullets at the same time. And so I think, and again, if you're going to go later, I would close this area of Blue Mountains, the back part of it too, along the ski trail. And again, I cross-country ski raced with biathletes who carried guns and skied at the same time. So I understand, you know, guns and skiing, but I would close this back area too along the trail. And I think perhaps the language which the legislature passed and I voted for is too broad. Because our top priority, whether it's, and I'm checking the Constitution to see, is protecting public safety. Yeah. And that's what the letter says, and that's why I appreciate what you're doing to limit today. But again, based on the knowledge of the park that I know the best, I think you need to go further, and I think we should review this legislation very carefully. Because part of, again, I've hunted since I was 6 years old. My father bought my son his first gun when he was 6 months old. My dad was the chairman of the National Wildlife Federation, one of the biggest hunting organizations in the country. But it gives hunters a bad name when we are forced to put hunters in the proximity with hikers and others. And one of the things I think we need to do to promote hunting and fishing is to improve the image of hunters and fishermen. And I believe this bill takes us in the wrong, this measure takes us in the wrong direction. So I appreciate your time. I'll answer any questions if I can, but I really think you need to even go further than the staff has done, especially in my favorite skiing park, Blue Mountains, to protect public safety, which should be our top priority. Thank you, and thanks for your time.